Good morning everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs of 1st of August. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. For regular updates, you can join our Telegram channel. This is the name of Telegram channel, GKToday YouTube. Now, let's start. Which Union Minister released ebook on standard treatment guidelines for substance use disorders and behavioral addictions? So recently these guidelines were released by Dr. Harshvardhan, who is present Health Minister. And the Minister specified that due to COVID-19, the substance use may increase. In fact, this was questioned by World Drug Report. So this World Drug Report was prepared by UNODC, that is United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes. Recently, UNODC was also in news as it released World Wildlife Crime Report. And as per this report, India and Thailand are two countries on top in terms of international trade of tiger parts. Now recently, Tiger Day was celebrated on 29th of July. Ambala Air Base, where the first batch of Rafale fighter jets arrived, is in which Indian state? So it is in Haryana. So recently, India got its first batch of Rafale fighter jets and they landed at Ambala Air Force in Haryana. We got Rafale from France. Recently, France was in news as India decided to purchase Hammer missiles from France. So these fighter jets will be inducted in Squadron number 17. And this is also known as Golden Arrows. So it will be inducted in the squadron of IAF, that is Indian Air Force. Present IAF chief is Air Chief Marshal RKS Bhadoria. Which power producer is the first to complete all wind power projects awarded by SECI, that is Solar Energy Corporation of India? So this is Sembcorp Energy India, and it is a subsidiary of Sembcorp Industries and it is a company of Singapore. So recently it announced the completion of its latest 800 megawatt wind power project, and therefore it became the first independent power producer to commission the project awarded by SECI. Now SECI is under MNRE. What is MNRE? It is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Recently MNRE was in news as it partnered with USAID for clean energy development. And recently USAID was in news because of RAISE initiative. So RAISE initiative is an initiative of EESL and USAID. What is the objective of RAISE? The objective is to ensure cleaner and greener office spaces. Now answer in comment box, this EESL is under which union ministry? A new helicopter service has been unveiled in which state under Udan scheme, and it will be operated by Prabandhan Limited. So this will be in Uttarakhand. And this has been announced under Udan scheme. Udan stands for Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, and this will be operated by Prabandhan Limited. Uttarakhand was also in news because of Gairsain, as it is the new capital of state. It is the summer capital. Uttarakhand was also in news as recently India's first lichen park was started in Uttarakhand. The state was also in news as recently Chief Minister of Uttarakhand announced first international airport of Uttarakhand, and it is going to be in Pantnagar. So this is going to be the first international airport of Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand was also in news as recently India's first green Ramayana park with the plant species associated to Lord Rama was inaugurated. Which country has claimed Diaoyu Islands as its territory and declared its right to conduct law enforcement agencies? So this is a disputed island between China and Japan. And Japan called these islands as Senkaku Islands, while China called these islands as Diaoyu Islands. Recently, China was also in news because of Azad Pattan hydropower project. And Pakistan and China signed agreement for this hydropower project. It is in POK, that is Pakistan Occupied Kashmir, and it is our territory. Therefore, India has raised objection against this project. Apart from that, China and Pakistan are collaborating for Diamer Bhasha Dam. This is also in our territory. China was also in news because of its investment deal with Iran. Now coming back to this island, so recently this island was in news as this island group is administered by the Ishigaki City Administration of Japan. And recently a bill was passed, and as per this bill, the Tonoshiro area will be renamed as Tonoshiro Shinkaku. It is important to note that this island area is known as Tonoshiro. That means the entire area in which this island is located is known as Tonoshiro in Japan. The specific island is known as Shinkaku. Which two cities are additionally selected by Union Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs to be made as smart cities? So these two cities are Leh and Kargil. These cities will be developed as smart cities. Recently, MOHUA, that is Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, formed a team, and this team will be headed by Rahul Kapoor. So what is the objective of this team? This will formulate the roadmap for the infrastructure development in these two areas, that means in Leh and in Kargil. Now, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs was also in news as recently PM Swanidhi scheme was launched, and this is a scheme for street vendors. And for this scheme, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which is the nodal ministry for the scheme, collaborated with SIDBI. What is SIDBI? It is Small Industries Development Bank of India. So SIDBI is going to be the implementing authority for this PM Swanidhi. The nodal ministry for this scheme is Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. What is the name of robotic Mars rover launched by NASA? So the name of this rover is Perseverance, and the name of the helicopter is Ingenuity. So please remember that Perseverance is rover and Ingenuity is the helicopter. So recently NASA successfully launched its Mars rover named Perseverance, and this rover is expected to land at the base of a crater on Mars, and the name of this crater is Zero. So NASA is the space agency of USA. Recently, NASA was in news as it decided to rename its headquarters after Mary W. Jackson. Now, apart from this Mars mission of USA, recently few other Mars missions were in news. Hope probe is the Mars mission of UAE, and UAE launched this mission with the help of Japan. On the other hand, our Mars mission is MOM, which we launched few years ago. Apart from that, recently China launched its Mars mission and it is named as Tianwen-1. Who has been appointed as the MD and Group CEO of ICRA Ltd. So recently, N. Sivaraman has been appointed as the MD and Group CEO of ICRA. ICRA is a credit rating agency. Now, apart from him, recently few other appointments were in news. Recently, Hardik Satish Chandra was appointed as the new private secretary to Prime Minister. In addition to him, recently, Varun Sridhar was appointed as the CEO of Paytm Money. Subhash Chandra Bose Aapda Prabandhan Puraskar is awarded by which union ministry? So this is awarded by Ministry of Home Affairs, and this is for the contribution of individuals as well as the contribution of institutions in the disaster management. Why this award was in news recently? Because the Government of India invited the nominations for this award, and this award is presented on the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and his birth anniversary is on 23rd of January. So this award is related to the disaster management. It is named after Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. It is given on his birth anniversary. It is given by Ministry of Home Affairs, and it is given in individual as well as in institution category. What is the modified deadline for filing income tax returns as announced by the Union Government? So the new deadline is September 30. And for income tax, we have ITD, that is Income Tax Department. And it is a government agency responsible for the direct tax collection. And it functions under DOR, that is Department of Revenue. This DOR is under Finance Ministry. And Income Tax Department is headed by CBDT, that is Central Board of Direct Taxes. Which technology company released a Security Endpoint Threat Report 2019? So it was released by Microsoft. And as per this report, India is one of the highest vulnerable countries, and India registered the 7th highest malware encounters and 3rd highest ransomware encounters across the Asia Pacific region. Now, Microsoft was also in news as recently it partnered with NSDC to provide skill training to our youth. What is NSDC? It is National Skill Development Corporation. Recently, NSDC was also in news because of ASEAN portal. What is ASEAN portal? It was launched by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And ASEAN stands for Atmanirbhar Skilled Employer Mapping. So this is a portal for employment opportunities. And this portal has been developed by NSDC in collaboration with Better Place. So this Better Place is a private company and it is a Bengaluru based company. Now NSDC that is National Skill Development Corporation. So in case of NSDC, the Government of India holds 49% shares, while 59% is with the private sector. Now Government of India holds these 49% shares through Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. The Indian government has imposed safeguard duty on which product till July 2021 to protect domestic manufacturers. Right answer is solar cells. So recently, Indian government imposed safeguard duty on solar cells for 1 more year to protect the domestic manufacturers. Now, how the domestic manufacturers will be protected by imposing safeguard duty? See, China is exporting cheap solar cells to India. And if these solar cells will be imported in India, then obviously they will be less costly than our domestic products. But this will discourage the domestic manufacturers to produce it, and they will prefer to import it from China. And that's why, to safeguard the domestic manufacturers, this decision was taken. So DGTR recommended this safeguard duty, and it was imposed by DOR. DOR is Department of Revenue. It is under Finance Ministry. What is DGTR? It is Directorate General of Trade Remedies, and it is under Commerce Ministry. Now your homework is to read about safeguard duty, anti-dumping duty, and countervailing duty. What will be the effective contribution by the employees and employers to the EPF from August 2020? So it is going to be 24%. That means 12% from employer and 12% from employees. In the month of May, Finance Ministry reduced the EPF contribution by 4%, and this was reduced only for 3 months to provide a relief. Now it is back to normal. So from the month of August, the effective contribution will be back to old rate of 24%. Now this EPF is managed by EPFO, that is Employees Provident Fund Organization, and it is under Labor Ministry. So these were the most important questions of today's quiz. Now we are going to discuss important news. Feel free to skip it at your own risk if you do not like the format. So first news is related to BRICS. What is BRICS? It is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So recently the BRICS Environment Ministers meeting was organized, and this was the 6th meeting. This was attended by our Environment Minister, Mr. Prakash Javadekar. And for present year, Russia is the chair of BRICS. Next year, India will be the chair of BRICS. Next is MSME Saksham. So SIDBI, the authority responsible for the implementation of PM Swanidhi. So SIDBI, in association with TransUnion CIBIL, has launched this MSME Saksham, and it is a support platform for MSME sector. Next is Operation Muskan. So this was a special drive conducted by the Andhra Pradesh Police to trace the missing children. So this is related to Andhra Pradesh Police. Next is Kona Kona Ummeed. So this was a campaign which was started by Kotak Mahindra Bank, and this is a campaign to provide special offers and discounts in this time of pandemic situation. Next is Hamid Bakayoko. So recently Hamid Bakayoko has been appointed as the new Prime Minister of Ivory Coast. It is a African country. Next is Lee Teng-hui. So he passed away recently. He was popularly known as Mr. Democracy, and he was the former president of Taiwan. Next is Great Eastern Shipping Company Limited. So recently it was in news because it appointed former RBI Governor Urjit Patel as additional and independent director. Recently Mr. Patel was also in news because of his book Overdraft. Next is mpay.me. So MobiKwik launched this UPI payment interface, and the name of this interface is mpay.me. What is UPI? It is Unified Payment Interface. Next is Babita Fogart. So recently the wrestler Babita Fogart was in news as she has been appointed as the Deputy Director in the Sports and Youth Affairs Department of Haryana. Apart from her, Kavita Devi was also appointed as the Deputy Director in the Sports and Youth Affairs Department of Haryana. Kavita Devi is a Kabaddi player. Next is Reliance Power and JERA. So both these companies have signed an agreement for a new power generation project in Bangladesh. JERA is a company of Japan. Next is AIM iCrest. So it is an initiative of Niti Aayog. So to be specific, this is an initiative of Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog, and this is a program for the startups. And for this program, it has partnered with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Wadhwani Foundation. So this is a platform for startups. Next is Rajat Bhatia. So he was associated to cricket and recently he was in news because he announced his retirement. Next is Avni Doshi. So recently, Dubai-based Indian origin author Avni Doshi was in news because of her book Brunt Sugar. So she is in the list of prestigious 2020 Booker Prize for her book. So total 13 authors are in this list and she is one of them. And last news is related to P. Harikrishna. So Indian Grandmaster P. Harikrishna finished second in the 53rd Biel International Chess Festival. And this festival held in Switzerland.